Hi, this is 4.3, but only if you want to try for a level 9s. It's proofs. It's what your parents will remember that they didn't like about geometry. And proofs, part of the difficulty with it is you do every proof this exact same way. It's sort of like a puzzle. It tells you where it needs to start, it tells you where it needs to finish, and then you have to figure out the puzzle of what fits in between. So there's a couple I have here that I'll walk through. And as I walk through these type, it will show you how, in general, proofs are done. The first one is going to be a fill in the blank. Some of it is already filled in, and you have to do the rest. The second one hasn't have anything done. So these are the type that will be worth 9 because you just fill in the blanks. These are the type that are worth 10. So in this first situation, they always tell you where you have to end up, and it's usually called the proof. You prove it with other reasons. You don't prove it with prove, you prove it with reasons. And they always give you some information. So this has two different givens. So you look in the picture and see what is given. And there's this marking. And that means that angle N is congruent to angle V. N and V are the same size. You know that because it says so in the picture. You also have this tick mark, and that means the length from N to T is just the same as the length from V to T. N to T is congruent to V to T. So there's the two things given in the picture. Then there's a puzzlement. You need one more thing. We could look back. These were angles. These were sides. And you memorize the list, or you have it written somewhere. You have written SSS, SAS, AAS, ASA, and HL. The 5 ways to determine that triangles are congruent. So we've used an angle and a side, so it's not going to be side, 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 and they aren't right triangles, so it's not going to be HL. So it's going to be one of those others. And that means either you just know a pair of angles are the same, or you just know a pair of sides are the same. So you have to, there's where the puzzle comes in. What is the same? And you just know it from the picture. I call these bow tie pictures, and every single bow tie picture, you know that these angles are the same. Do you remember what they were called? Vertical angles. So angle NTS. And look here, I just called this N, and I knew it was angle N. And I just needed the one letter because there wasn't any confusion. But if I just called this T, I wouldn't know if I was over here or over here. NTS with T in the middle means I'm talking about right there. And it's the same as VTU because they are vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent. And I could add that marking. And I usually add the marking. I decide that they're A. So if there's 2 angles on a side, it's not this side angle side. It's going to be either this one or this one. And I look, these 2 angles include this side. This right here, these 2 angles include this side. The reason is ASA. So that's sort of how you go through the puzzle. So here's another proof. So you can look back, do all the looking you need. And it tells us the PR, I tend to always start with what's given. BR bisects angle QPS and angle QRS. Okay, that was given. That's a good reason. Okay, if PR, this piece, bisects angle QPS, right through here, it bisects. What does the word bisect mean? It cuts this one big angle into 2 angles equal size. Angle, I can't just say P, because which is it, the top or bottom? So QPS is congruent to angle, that isn't right, QPR is the same as SPR. And I knew that because I asked what the definition of bisector. It's bisecting an angle. Okay. It says it bisects QPS and QRS. QRP, SRP. It splits this angle into two. Angle QRP is the same as angle SRP because of definition of angle bisector. So again, back to our list over here. It's not side, side, side. It's either angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side, because there's two pairs of angles already. A pair of angles here, a pair of angles here. I don't know that Q is the same as S, but I do know that PR is the same length as PR. Different books give different things. They either call this the reflective property, or identity. Looks in a mirror and sees itself. It's the same thing. Put a marking, and so the triangles are the same. Triangle QPR is congruent to triangle SPR. I like to keep the letters consistent, and the reason is ASA. Now, is that where they wanted us to get to? No, it wants this piece. The PQ is the same length as PS. Well, if these triangles are the same, didn't we learn a couple parts ago that all the parts are the same? All the angles are the same, all the sides are the same. So if they pick a different side, it's the same by C, P, C, T, C. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. All those words are in your notes. CPCTC. So that's what it takes to get a 9 or 10. Now they won't be identical to this. You'll have to figure out what puzzle that one is. But it's the same process from a given to a proof with reasons.